Yo, yo, YouTube! Welcome back. It's Tuesday, the 26th of September, and today I've had another poor earnings day on the CX. I have had an interesting day, but not good for money. Better than yesterday, but not good for what I want. So, let me tell you about today. I had on board a few boxes from last night when I woke up this morning, and I was due to be delivering them at 10:30 at Silverstone. And I called my contact about 9:15. He went through to answer phone, left a message saying, I'm about 10 minutes away. Let me know if you need the money sooner, but otherwise I'll be there at 10:30. I was hoping that I would get some sort of message back saying, oh great, you're here early, come straight in, which would have saved me an hour of my time. But unfortunately I didn't get any call, so at about 10:05 I made my way over for the first time to the circuit, and it was really raining hard as I approached. Remember that. I got, it's the first time I've been there. I got to the security gate and asked him where this building was I had to go to, and he said, through here, turn left, and then go for 2 miles, go over this bridge, go around this corner, blah blah blah. I thought, 2 miles? Wow. So I thought I can get left here and then go for 2 miles, but whether I'm going to remember the rest of it is unlikely. I was hoping there'd be a sign for the building somewhere. So I did what he said. I went in, drove around. There was other vehicles in front of me and behind me, and then I eventually did get to a place with a sign with the name of the building on that I was going to, as in direction signs. So I followed those signs and ended up driving alongside the track, which was really interesting. Obviously there's a barrier between me and the track, but you can see quite a lot from a van. There's nothing going on, obviously it was empty. Oh, there's odd, I think there's a couple of Porsches doing tests on the circuit today. Anyway, so I got to the building and then I called again, and I got through to I got through the finance phone again, and then I got a call back from the lady who was my contact, and she said to me to go to this place, and I said, well, okay, I will go there, but how do I get to the right door? Because it's a massive building. I was on the corner, which I thought was where the goods in was, and I said where I was. She said, oh, that's fine. From there, go upstairs, and then you'll leave it in the hall there. So I had my instructions. The problem I had at this point, and I chose to not worry about it and just got on with my day, is that there were loads and loads of vans and lorries all doing the same thing. And I had 4 big boxes with wheels and 4 heavy boxes without wheels, but I could use my sack barrow to carry those. Obviously couldn't do it all in one go. So I took the first couple of wheeled suitcases to inside the building, and I found there's a lift, a service lift. But I was in a queue with other people, and it was really slow. So I left my 2 items in the corner, went back to my van, got the next 2 items, came in, left them there, went back to my van, got the last stuff on my sack barrow and came back. And by this point there was still more people behind me queuing up, and the lift was, I said, very slow. Anyway, in the end I got myself up to what I thought was the correct floor, and I was looking out for a reception desk because the items I had were going to go to form the reception of this conference that was going on. And I found a desk that looked very much like the reception desk. I left the items behind the desk, took a photo of the actual banner behind the desk and the photo of the goods, put them onto CX, then I called the person who I had contact with again and said, can I get someone to sign for these? And she said, I'm wandering around, come to my office and someone will sign for them. So, first thing I did was I managed to get stuff delivered. That wasn't the end of my adventure, let's call it. I then had to try and find where this office was, and there's about 4 or 5 levels to this big building. And I was going up the stairs, and then I asked the lady if I could tell me where I had to go, and she said she didn't know, but maybe the next flight of stairs. So I went in there, they were sitting up in the convention hall area, lots of workmen. It was very men-based with high vis on this morning. Lots of, if you like men with high vis, you should go to this environment and just sit and gawp at them all. It's not my thing, but there you go. Anyway, so I came out of there, went up another flight of stairs, and eventually found the office for the organisers of the event. There was one person in there, and I explained who I was, and she said, "Oh yeah, I work with the lady you spoke to, and she'll sign my thing." So I got the second thing done, my pod signed. So now I have to get out of there. So I tried to find. Oh no, before I did that, I managed to utilise the toilet facilities before I left, which is on the first floor. That's very helpful. And then I left the building. I got into my van and drove off site. And I was just looking at the scenes, looking at this track, looking at what's going on. It was quite interesting. It's a massive site, lots of development going on. The thing that I would say that interested me was all the stands were basically just scaffolding, very kind of, in inverted commas, cheap stands. And I was surprised. I thought they might have sort of permanent stands, but there's lots of stands there people sit at to view the circuit, but basically just scaffolding with seats on. And then I realised, or at least I thought, did I actually bring my sack barrow down? And I didn't. I stopped and checked, and I hadn't got it on my van. So I had to go back to all the way back to the building, and then I'd go back to where I'd left the stuff. But when I went to the elevator, the lift, it was loads of people queuing up for it, and I was just there with myself, not carrying anything, so I couldn't really justify getting in that queue. So I thought, I'll go up the stairs. There's some stairs right next to that lift. So I'll go up the stairs, 2 flights, then I'll be there. Went up the stairs, to the top of the stairs, went through the door, and I was 1 floor below where I had to be. And I thought, oh, okay, well, there must be some other stairs somewhere. So I was wandering around. There were some stairs, but they were going down. Not the ones I come up to, the area of the building. And I was going to conference rooms and all over the place, and I just thought, this is ridiculous. I could see out the window the stairs I had to get, the external stairs. So anyway, I came out, went down the stairs, back out onto the car park. I walked around the ramp, walked up the ramp, and then up the stairs to where I had been before. And luckily, my sack barrow was still standing there. I was really pleased it was still there. I got that, and then I managed to get in the lift going down, because obviously it was empty going down because people had finished a load of stuff. So I got the lift going down, no problem at all. Got back in my van, and then made my way off site again for the second time. So by the time I got off site, it was 11:30. So I'd managed in that whole morning, this morning, I'd managed to deliver 8 boxes to finish off my £50 job from yesterday. It just felt like a complete trudge and really a waste of time. But as I said, I chose to just take it as it came, didn't get stressed about it, just decided it's going to be one of those days. So next I had to try and find another job. So I was putting a few quotes on, trying to get somewhere close to where I was. And then a job that I did win in the end was from Luton, which was an hour away from me, going to Woodbridge, which is sort of near to Ipswich. Now, Ipswich is not a great area, in my view, to get work out of in the afternoon. And Luton was an hour away, but it had a 1 o'clock pickup, and I had like an hour and a half to get there. So I put a bid on, I bid on for a long wheelbase job, a nice 2 miles, £110, and I got that. So I thought, fair enough, I've got a decent job now, and it's taking me away from, I would say away from London. It's sort of not really, it's sort of across London. I wasn't really in London at the time. I was actually in Toaster, but at least it wasn't going into London, I suppose, was the main thing. And on my way to going to Luton, I was looking for jobs for tomorrow morning, and this would have been around about 12ish, and nothing really came up. But there was a couple of jobs starting to go up, but I was looking for tomorrow, nothing came up. So I carried on, made my way to Luton, and got to the pickup location. Actually, yeah, that was it. One little strange thing. Doesn't happen very often, but they didn't call me. I just got a notification that they give me the job. I had the chance to accept or reject, and usually with a long wheelbase job, if they've just put it through, I kind of get suspicious then because something about the job that they don't want to talk to me about. So on my way there, I was thinking, what could it be? What is it? That's the problem with this job. So I read the notes. There's nothing there that put me off when I read the notes. So I accepted it, made my way to Luton, and I got there for 5:21, so bang on time. And I made myself known, and they weren't quite ready for me. I used their toilet, which is really handy. I noticed that a lot of my comments on these channels is about me using the toilet. It's a big deal. It's a big part of my day. When you're not in an office, well, at least I find it is for me. I'm not in an office. Um, being able to go to the toilet and finding somewhere to go at the right time becomes quite a big deal with this job. So I probably mention it more often than I should, but it's an important part of my day, to be honest. Getting to go to the toilets is quite a relief in many ways. Anyway, where was I? So I got to Luton. I was waiting for them to give me the stuff, and it's a manufacturing place. So I just went and had a quick word with them. I said, "Can you just tell me what I'm going to be putting on board? So how big is it and how heavy is it?" And they showed me the three things they were doing, and they looked quite bulky, very irregular. They weren't on pallets. They were being packaged up between two pieces of plyboard wood. I think they're perspex things. They were quite heavy, as in I could lift them on my own, but between the three of us we could. And so between the three of us, we put on the three items that they had packaged up. I got them really securely tied down. I had there was two items on top of each other at the front of my van, which were kind of the lighter items, but they were square. I put one strap over them with a blanket between to stop moving too much. And then the guy who was giving it to me put some packaging around the bottom parcel so it wouldn't move around. And then we put on a very long piece, which was too long for my van, unless it was laying on top of the other piece. It was about 6 inches too long. So what they did was they put a couple of blocks on the end, by the end of my van, and put the other end on top of one of their other items that was protecting it. So this is all done by the people that was manufacturing it. It's all done to their satisfaction. I then got a strap set up that went around the big long item in the middle of it and at the end of it. So I had some sort of strap going underneath it, through a D-ring, and then over the top. And then I strap ratcheted them both up. And then I had another strap at the back holding the big pallet, not calling it pallets, the big item by its holding it backwards at the back of my van. And I think that was it. I had 4 straps in the end, and I got the guy who had manufactured it to come in and just inspect what I'd done and just make sure he was happy with the security of it all, and got to sign my cards, took some photos, and then I was away. So by the time I did all that, it was taking a good half an hour to get all that done. It was quite an in-depth process. And then I made my way towards Woodbridge. On the way, I was looking. It was about 2 hours. On the way, I was looking for jobs for Monday, and that's when about 2 o'clock a spate of jobs came up in my home area. Must have been about eight or nine jobs came up. Some of them, I suppose, were repeated jobs, so maybe 7 or 8 unique jobs, and then over the course of the afternoon, about 3 or 4 of them got repeated a couple of times. But I won one for Monday, and I put a bid on two. One was going from Melton Mowbray to Bolton, and I put a bid of £155 on that one for a long wheelbase. And the other one I got, which was from Boston to Stafford, ST10. And I thought, oh, I know what that is, so I'll add a bit of money on for that one. So this one is a long wheelbase job, 113 miles, I put £150 on, and I got it. And then when the actual information came through, I realised it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't somewhere that I have to wait a long time to unload. But it was the place that I went to a couple of weeks ago or a week ago and I couldn't find. So if you remember, it was next to a farming manufacturer and it was set back from the road. And I couldn't find it the first time, but now I know exactly where to find this warehouse. So it's a 9 o'clock pickup tomorrow. I'm doing exactly the same thing as I did before. I'm going from the same pickup to the same drop-off in Stoke area. And the reason why that's perfect for me, not only is it a good, decent starting time, it's not too early, not too late, not only is it not too far for me to dead mile it to collect it, but it gets me to Stoke area, and then I've got a pickup with my regular shipper arranged from Manchester to High Wycombe, just one pickup. So I'm pretty sure that from Stoke to Manchester isn't that far. I haven't checked it to be honest, but I don't think it's that far. So I'll probably just end up taking this load from Boston to Stoke, dead mile it to Manchester, pick up my load, get to High Wycombe, and then probably just go home. Or try and find some sort of job going back, depending on the time. But I'm hoping that for tomorrow, that will be quite an easy day and quite a lucrative day to make up for my first 2 days of the week that have been quite poor. And then Thursday and Friday, we'll see how that goes on the CX. Right, so let me give you my stats for today. They won't be very impressive, but I suppose some days aren't very good when you're just relying on CX. Some days you get quite poor pickings. So I suppose it's the good and the bad, all part of the mix. So when I get home, by the way, I'm just dead miling at home from Ipswich. I did look at jobs, but there was nothing really. And I need to get home for tomorrow's morning's pickup. So the likelihood of getting any job from Ipswich towards my home is remote. Never mind getting any job at all. So I'm just dead mind at home. I have had a look on the way up. There's been no jobs coming up. So for today, I will have worked for 8 hours and 40 minutes. By the time I get home, I will have done 249 miles, 249. I'm still basing the cost of fuel on last week's average, so I haven't filled up yet. I'll fill up tomorrow, and that's 16.49 pence per mile. I'm hoping that either at Boston or on the way to Stoke, there's somewhere with fuel less than 161, because that's what I'm getting locally at the pump. So at that average fuel price, today I spent £41.06 on fuel, and today I made a gross amount of £160.160. That's made up of my £50 drop off from Wallingford last night to Toaster today, and £110 from Luton to Woodbridge, 2 jobs. And that means that after fuel today I've made £119.119. So that's been today. I don't think I've got anything else to share at the moment. I think I'll leave it at that. I put a video out yesterday to give a summary of my first 6 months finances. I put in as much of that as much relevant stuff to that as I could think of at the time. But as I knew what would happen, I'd forgotten some stuff. And there's some really good comments off the back of that video that I think I would encourage you to, if you are watching this video and haven't seen that one, I think there's lots of good advice from people who have done this job for a long time. And so if you look at the video I did yesterday, also look at the comments underneath, because there's some really good points there for you to bear in mind if you're new to this job. And I'm hoping that there'll be further things commented on that are constructive below that video to give the things that I've forgotten or the things that I've not focused so much on some prominence, so that if you are looking at that, you get the full picture of what it's like to be doing this job, just in terms of finances. Obviously, what I didn't talk about, because I'm doing another video, is what the job is like as doing it as a job, but that wasn't the point of that video. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for listening. What have you learnt today?